This is On the Radar, coming at you in Week 7 of the 2023 MLB season observations. Thursdays now seem to be very light on the schedule of how many games. Back previously, I guess I could say even before the season, there were still plenty of games on Thursdays because that's when you started a 4-game set. For some reason, though, there's only 5 or 6 games, so I'm able to get to this to you before the morning since the afternoon since I have a busy Friday. Tigers, you paid Javi Baez all this money to drive in runs and hit home runs. Not to bat second, and then Riley Green is the second year in the league, and he's an amazing defensive outfielder, and he got great speed, but he's not a number 3 hitter, so they switch him back and forth to just keep him where they are. Ibanez, utility man, should not be batting 5th in the lineup, and he's an infielder, not an outfielder. Nick Maton, utility man, also should not be batting 4th, 5th, or 6th, and not wasting a DH spot on him. And Eric Haas is supposedly your everyday catcher. Don't put him in the outfield. I've seen him make some bad plays. He made maybe one good play all season, and that's it, one. And then Miggy, it's his final season. Don't disrespect him by batting him all the way 7th. Mariners, I do like this new lineup with J.P. Crawford batting leadoff and Julio Rodriguez batting 3rd. I like it. Julio Rodriguez is your best player, and you're going to be like, well, he wants to get more bats. That's why he was leading off. Dude, if you have Rodriguez batting in the middle of the lineup and you have Ty France and Suarez and Teoscar Hernandez and Cal Raleigh in the heart of the lineup, that's really good. But Jarred Kelenic hasn't proved that he's an everyday major leaguer. He's been on a hot streak to start the season, but I was saying he should be batting 3rd or 4th. And he's batting 4th now more than he has been batting 3rd, which is silly. Ty France is a middle-of-the-order hitter. He's a good offensive player. He's a first baseman. I know he's a 3rd baseman by trade, but he's not a 2-hitter. I would much rather see Colton Wong, J.P. Crawford, or even Julio Rodriguez bat 2nd. And Haggerty is a 2nd baseman by trade, so he did play some 2nd base this past week. But again, he's not an outfielder. Miami, Jazz Chisholm leading off is a perfect spot for him. I don't like whenever I see him batting in the middle of the lineup. Soler batted cleanup once or twice. That's where he should be, man. He's a power-hitting, slugging DH. So he should not be batting 2nd. And Jazz is, again, not a center fielder. He got hurt recently, running into the wall. Like, the dude's going to not survive the season again, playing out of position, okay? Arise batting 3rd is fine because he is for averaging. It's a lot of hits. But he's the perfect top-of-the-order hitter. De La Cruz is mostly a backup, so I wouldn't want him 5th. We've been over this. Joey Wendell, not a shortstop. When you have Garrett Hampson, a natural-born shortstop, Gene Segura, a natural-born shortstop, Jazz Chisholm, a natural-born shortstop, and Birdie is a middle infield utility player, there are so many options there. Okay, Birdie playing shortstop, as I mentioned, is a good idea. Gene Segura batting 6th when he's been horrible offensively this season and doesn't have any power RBIs for his career. Him batting 1st when he's been bad all season is stupid, but I take it over batting 6th. And again, Hampson is the natural-born center fielder. You're first playing Jazz in center field. Now you're playing another infielder in center field. When De La Cruz and Sanchez all can play center field. That's really dumb. And then Garrett Cooper is not a 2-hitter. He's a power hitter, okay? The Reds. Tyler Stevenson is a good enough catcher, but he's not a cleanup hitter on any team. Okay, Senzel batting 5th when his best value is either top or the bottom because he's speed and contact. And they play him some at 3rd base, and they play him center field. Just get him out of the outfield, okay? Ramos is like their 5th or 6th or 7th string outfielder. He's not a middle-of-the-order hitter or a DH. And Fairchild is a backup outfielder who has yet to prove in the big league, so batting 4 through 6 is stupid. Newman, if he's not batting 1 or 2 like Senzel, he should be at the bottom of the lineup. Not Will Myers. He's literally your only power guy besides Steer. Why is he batting 8th? Fraley's a good defensive outfielder, but he's not a middle-of-the-order hitter. And Spencer Steer could be playing first base on a regular basis because Joey Votto is still out. It makes the most sense. Let Senzel play 3rd base, or Newman actually got to start at 3rd base, which is an interesting idea there. Okay, Washington. Keibert Ruiz is your franchise catcher, but he's not a 3 through 5 hitter. And Candelario is one of the worst hitters in baseball last year. I would not want this guy batting cleanup. I have Dominic Smith and Corey Dickerson on this team, and Jordan Meneses. Those are guys who could bat cleanup. I did like Lane Thomas and this Garcia guy in 1 and 2. Makes sense. Mets. I was complaining about McNeil batting all over the place. Well, he batted 3rd, he batted 2nd, he batted 7th. 2nd is where I would want a guy who won a batting title. Should bat 2nd. 7th is lower in the lineup than him batting 5th or 6th, so it's a little bit better. But again, not a 3-hitter. Lindor was bumped to the 2 spot, and Marte was dropped down to the 6 spot. I like Marte drop down because he drives in a lot of runs. What I don't like is Lindor batting second when he's not a leadoff hitter. The dude that hit 40 home runs in the season before, that's a 4 or 5 or 6 hitter, if not a 3 hitter. Okay? And then McNeil playing the outfield, whatever. Tommy Pham batting cleanup. Okay, they want to play him in left field more because Cannon, we all know, is not a natural-born outfielder. Cool, and you gave Cannon some at-bats at DH. But I don't trust Pham as a center fielder. That's the problem. And Beatty, who they called up, playing him in the outfield to play another young player when they already have a bunch of third basemen. There's no need for this dude to be in center field. And Escobar, with Guillorme being sent down, looks like he's the utility guy. You got the starter second base and batted second. I don't know when's the last time Escobar played second base. He's playing a lot of third base in his career in the last couple of years. Batting second is an interesting spot. Pittsburgh. How can you be so correct with batting Ke'Bryan Hayes fifth when I said he's an RBI guy, but then just go, nah, we're batting leadoff when he's not a leadoff hitter? And then Andrew McCutchen, you brought him in to drive and runs and home runs. So why is he leading off? And so Jack Sawinski should be playing every day in center field and getting consistent at bats. But he's not a cleanup hitter. I was hoping to getting McCutchen, Carlos Santana, G-Man Choi, Connor Joe. And you also, as I mentioned, you still have Ke'Bryan Hayes and Brian Reynolds. Those are middle-order guys. Reynolds batting second and playing his natural position of left field is perfect. Keep doing that. Joe, again, if you want his bat in the lineup, cool. But again, he's not an outfielder. And Duar is also not an outfielder. So when he DH once this week, I was like, that's pretty good. And Jace Wambae, when William Cruz is going to be out for pretty much the whole year and they don't have a second baseman, why are you, again, also wasting him in the outfield? Orioles, Adley Rutschman has been on fire. But again, I would love to see this guy bat fifth or sixth. And how many RBIs he can get instead of batting second. And, you know, Frazier has always been a top or the bottom of the hitter. So I wouldn't want him batting fifth or sixth. And, you know, Hayes, I don't want this dude batting 4 through 6. They batted him leadoff, but that's at the expense of Cedric Mullins. So just put the guy second and call it even. And O'Hearn, I seen he had a few home runs the last couple of days during this past season, of this past week of baseball. Why is he batting last? He's a slugging DH first baseman. He has no business batting last. He's not a horrible hitter. And Vaught, the starting pitcher, pitching out of the bullpen. Okay, then with the Rays, Yanni Diaz stopped batting an RBI power guy threat first. Juan Franco batting second is a good spot, but that's also sometimes at the expense of Brandon Lau batting 3 through 4 when he's not a power hitter. He's more of a contact average guy at the start of his career. Then Harold Ramirez-Viola, he's a backup outfielder, not a first baseman, not a DH, and not a 3 through 5 hitter. Like, I don't know when you're going to get that. Paredes should be getting every opportunity every day to play third base, unless Taylor Wall is going to get some at-bats at third base. Because Paredes seemed to have found a home here. And then Jalen Beeks is a starting pitcher pitching out the bullpen. He did open a game. And then Josh Lau, they like this dude because he has power potential. So why bat him leadoff? And Randy Rosarena is either a 3-hitter or a cleanup hitter, not a 2-hitter. Okay? You need his pop and his RBI. Atlanta, Kuhn in right field, correction they made it the last couple seasons. Him leading off and Freeman second. I'm okay with Acuna leading off if Freeman's in the middle lineup because I don't want Albie Albies batting 3 through 6. That's not the spot for him. He's not he doesn't say healthy-wise enough. He's not a power hitter. And Murphy batting 4th and 5th when he wouldn't do that on most teams. He's a good catcher. He's won a Gold Glove, but he's not a great offensive guy. And I love Kevin Pillar. Should have had 2 or 3 Gold Gloves on his mantle. But batting him 7th or batting, you know, Harris 7th or Arcia, these guys are bottom order hitters. And Kyle McHugh somehow started a game as an opener because of injuries or whatever. So I was like, hey, a starting pitcher that should start. Blue Jays, Springer as the course correction of this year being the everyday right fielder, cool. But I would have no problem if he spot started in center field so the catcher by trade, Dalton Varsho, is not playing center field. And then in that same breath, Whit Merrifield and Kevin Biggio, getting starts in the outfield. I know there's not enough at bats to go around second base, but they're not outfielders, and he also getting a bat at first base. When I would technically say, hey, Dalton, get a start at first base because you're a catcher, okay? And not an outfielder, okay? And Whit Merrifield is open batting 6th because he's not a power hitter. And again, Springer's not a leadoff hitter. I want this dude in the middle of the lineup. Now the Yankees. Gleyber Torres, not a leadoff hitter, okay? Not a 2-hitter either, not a 3 or 4-hitter. I want this guy maybe 5th or 6th or 7th. Aaron Judge should be in the middle of the lineup, not second. Glad he's been playing right field because that's where he belongs. And then Jesus LeMahieu batting cleanup when the dude won a batting title and almost won another one at the top of the lineup. Silly. Second baseman with a Gold Glove playing first base and third base is dumb. Harrison Bader, the Gold Glove center fielder, has never been a great hitter, so why is he batting 3 through 5? It makes no sense. IKF, stop playing this dude in the outfield. At least he got some at-bats at third base because that's a better position for when you want to go glove. And I'm glad that Bowers is playing, but again, not a leadoff hitter. He's a slugging first baseman who's bounced around. Again, not an outfielder. I see him out there sometimes making some bad plays. He got hurt in his first game playing the outfield. They have now batted him like 5th or 6th or 7th. That's a good spot for him. And then this Oswaldo Cabrera guy, he started some games at second base, third base, shortstop, and the outfield. I guess they're just throwing him all around as an infielder. Velope, I like the experiment of him in the leadoff spot if he wasn't batting 9th. 6th doesn't value anything. He's not a power RBI guy. He hasn't established himself yet. And I like when Aaron Hicks plays center field and does good things to prove the Yankees people wrong, but then he goes and plays left field. The only reason I play him in left field is if you start Harrison Bader. Okay, Cleveland. This whole Jimenez defensively better at shortstop and gives you whatever offense at shortstop. And then if Rosario makes errors at second base, he still gives the offensive guys. And then swapping them 2nd and 6th because Rosario's not a number 2 hitter. He drives in more runs and has more power potential. But then they said, you know what, we're going to move Jimenez to the 3rd spot because something's up with Jose Ramirez. That's not the spot that I would put this guy in. You know, that is not the spot that I would put him in, but okay. I don't know who this Fry guy is, but he's played corner, infield, and catcher. What is he? And then Arias is an infielder by trade. So again, play him in the outfield and first base. Then you get yourself the Angels. Taylor Ward, a catcher, playing the outfield. Stretch. Okay? And he's not a leadoff hitter because he doesn't have speed. He did bat cleanup once, but that's because they stupidly are putting either Trout or Ohtani second when they should be middle lineup. Urshela started a lot of games consistently now at third base, but again, I would much rather have the natural-born shortstop play second base than insult him by saying we want you at first base. Lower-end defensive spectrum. And Moniak leading off. I'm glad they called him up. Real outfielder, center fielder by trade. Tice, we've been over this. He played corner outfield and corner infield in the Major League. I didn't never see him catch the Major Leagues till like this year. But he did start one game at first base. I'm like, that makes sense. And they lost the day to moving with Ohtani. Red Sox. I'm tired of Verdugo leading off. Like, he should be in the... If he's not batting second, he should be batting 5th, 6th, or 7th. Okay? Duran leading off a few times makes sense, but he got demoted because he couldn't hit. So if that's the chase, why are you wasting him in the cleanup spot? That's where Devers has been recently. That's been perfect. Tapia playing center field. I like that. Justin Turner should be batting the middle lineup. Now, second, Rob Refsnyder, who's the utility man, has no business batting 3rd through 4th. No, let alone playing the outfield when they need his at-bats in the infield. Kiki again. Kiki Hernandez is not a middle-order hitter. 6th is a waste. Duran, as I mentioned, 4th earlier. 5th is silly. Not Colton Wong, but his brother Connor Wong is the Red Sox catcher. Why is he playing second base? He's not his brother. And then Pablo Reyes, the super utility man who they got recently pitched in a blowout. Cardinals. I like Tommy Edman leading off, but I don't understand him batting 5th or 7th recently. Like, that's stupid. He's either 1 or 2 or 8 or 9. And then with some injuries with the outfield, he's playing the outfield when he's an infielder. And Yepes is playing the outfield when he's an infielder. And they're DHing other people. Like, DH Yepes because he's not a good outfielder. That makes more sense than anything else, okay? And then Goldschmidt's still batting second when he should be batting 3rd or 4th. That's the spot you put an MVP caliber player. And Dylan Carlson, before he was recently injured, again, 6 doesn't give him much offensive value there. Twins. Again, we know Donovan Solano is not a first baseman. I wrote this down twice. But he did play some second base, which is his natural position. And he batted second, which, again, should be where he is, not in the middle of the lineup. Buxton, they keep moving him back and forth between 1st and 4th. Figure out a spot for him because either one is fine. Carl Farmer, I guess I wrote this down twice. Cleanup. Not a cleanup hitter. The dude was a 13 catcher for the Dodgers and the Reds and then became a shortstop. Like, he's a utility man. So he's not a cleanup hitter, and he's playing a lot of third base with the demotion of Juan Moreno. It makes sense. Polanco, they finally put him back in the 5th spot where I felt like the last couple of years I said that's a sweet spot. 4th is a little bit too much. Willie Castro and Nick Gordon. Natural-born shortstops playing the outfield and the infield the same week. Gallo batting leadoff is stupid. And I know that was Killeroff back. They want to keep him healthy, and he's getting some at-bats first base. Cool, play Gallo in right field, play Gallo in left field, or DH him. But he's not a leadoff hitter. He's a power hitter, okay? Correa batted 3rd a few times. Like, finally put a middle-order hitter in the middle spot, not second, which is stupid. And I guess I wrote this again. Gallo 1st. Killeroff 2nd when they want his bat. It should be his 7th, baby. And then loads the DH with maneuvering. Cubs. I like that Chris Morel's up now. He's batting leadoff, or Nick Madrigal's leading off. And then they go in Swanson and Happ. Perfect. I didn't like the taking Seiya Suzuki at a cleanup spot and putting Bellinger when he's been one of the worst hitters the last couple of years. And again, not a center fielder. He's a first baseman by trade. Wisdom, a first baseman, also by trade, playing third base when you could play this Edwin Rios guy or Master Boney. And Madrigal, we all know is a second baseman, so why isn't he playing second base and letting Morel, a utility guy, play third base? Because they're out there having him play center field. I was like, come on. And then they did put Suzuki back fourth a few times, which made sense. And then Morel, when he wasn't leading off, he batted third. I'm like, why would you bat a utility guy third? And then Master Boney, who is a super utility guy, threw him in the outfield when that's just stupid, and then he pitched in a blowout. Houston, Dubon or Pena batting leadoff, I'm totally fine with either one of those. Bregman still batting second is silly when he should be batting 3, 4, 5. And if Pena's not batting 1 or 2 or 7, 8, or 9, he's definitely not a 5 hitter. Then waste of a DH spot or batting Chas McCormick 6 when he's not the world's greatest hitter at this point is silly. White Sox, Anderson, Benintendi, and Andrew Vaughn batting 1 and 3. Perfect. I would personally want Berger or Sheets batting 4th and 5th. But Moncada, since he's come off the injured list, and Robert a little bit have been really good, so putting them before Sheets and Berger's cool. But who bats Jake Berger 8th in this lineup? No, you bat Zavala or Grandal or Alberto at the bottom. You don't put Jake Berger 8th. And then a day where they batted Vaughn 2nd and put Benintendi 6th is stupid. Benintendi, if he's not batting 1 or 2 or 3, don't bat him 6. And Vaughn should always be 3 through 5. And then Sheets again. They don't really have anybody in right field because they have a bunch of backup outfielders between Hamilton, Marizic, and Housley. So, yes, and you want his bat in the lineup. But you also want Jake Berger's bat in the lineup. So that's the dilemma you're going to have. And then when I went to the game last Saturday, Grandal didn't play. So they started Carlos Perez, a third-string catcher, at DH and batted him 9th, which was a waste because he got no hits whatsoever. When Gavin Sheets was playing the outfield, he could have DH'd him and put one of the backup outfielders in right field as an emergency because what value does Perez give you DHing and batting 9th? 9th is where you belong, but DH is a waste. Royals, Vinny Pasquantino won the first base job over Prado. Good for him, but he's not a 2-hitter. He's batting middle lineup. Olivares has no business batting 3rd or 4th. They're wasting a DH spot on him. If you're going to throw Prado or Dozier in the outfield, those are 2 of the candidates. Actually, I don't know, DH, if you're not going to play one of them at first base and third base. Melendez, again, bad defensive outfielder as a catcher. I've seen him bad plays in person and on TV. But 4th is a good spot for him because then 1 or 2 is silly. Garcia just was called up the other day. 5th is way too high for this guy when you have other guys. And I didn't know he was a shortstop. I guess he's a shortstop by trade. Dozier did play third base once. That's cool. Jackie Bradley Jr. has been playing center field. But then they have this Eating guy who they've thrown in center field, but then he played third base. And I'm like, I'd rather, if you're not going to play, you know, Dozier at third base, then don't play an outfielder at third base. And Salvador Perez batting second too when he's the middle of the lineup hitter. Brewers, Contreras is a good offensive player, so batting 5th or 6th or 7th is fine. Not 1st, not 2nd. Adames should be batting 2nd, not 3rd. That's where Yelich and Winker should be. So Yelich did bat 4th at least once or twice this week, which makes sense. And Owen Miller batted leadoff, which is what he's been doing recently. But again, he's not an outfielder at first base. He's a middle infielder. Yelich then went back to batting leadoff with Winker 2nd, which again, they should be middle lineup. But Winker, a few games when they lost the DH maneuvering, came in right field. That's a little bit stretched defensively, but at least he's playing the outfield. They have so many outfielders, Tyrone Taylor and all these other guys that they have on the roster. There's no business that Brian Anderson should be in the outfield. There's really no one at third base that's really taking away bats from him. As I mentioned, they lost the DH maneuvering. And then Brasaru came into a game, played second base when he's a first baseman, and he pitched in a blowout. And Colorado, Profar and Bryant is still cringe when infielders are playing the outfield, flanking each other with Grichuk in center field when he's not a center fielder, but he plays some right, and they're playing a new youngster, Doyle in center field, which is good. Blackman leading off is what he's done for most of his career. But Diaz is a backup catcher, not even on most teams, probably third string. So him 3 through 5 is a waste of a lineup spot. I did like that Castro, Harrell got to play some second base. And not only outfield, Chris Bryant batting second when he should middle lineup is stupid. And McMahon also middle lineup should not be batting second. Philly, Bohm batting second I thought was stupid when Trey Turner or Stott should be there. But they have fixed it with Trey Turner either batting first or second with Stott. And then Nicky Castellanos and Kyle and Harper batting in that 4 through 5 spot, 3 through 4 and 5 is perfect. Okay? Because when you do that and JT Realmuto becomes your 6th hitter and Alex Bohm becomes your 7th hitter, that would mean Sosa or Clemens or Jake Cave or whomever else you're playing in the lineup that day gets to bat at the bottom of the lineup with Brandon Marsh, and that's like a perfect situation there. But again, Clemens not a first baseman. Giants, Lamonte Wade Jr. plays some center field and first base. That's the problem. If the dude is good at the play center field, And you have plenty of first basemen on this team. That's stupid. Leading off is perfect, but again, batting third is dumb. Lost to DH maneuvering, and both Junis and Ross Stripling are starting pitchers. And Alex Wood, they all pitch on the bullpen within the last week when they're starter. Sable, a catcher who should be playing catcher or first base, should not be in the outfield. Wasting a DH spot on Estrada when if he's not playing second base, you just give him the day off. And Yastrzemski, if he's not batting at the top, he should bat in the lineup, not at the bottom of the top, not sixth. Angel, Emmanuel Rivera, he's an offensive player, not a two-guy. Rojas also. I don't like either one of these guys batting the top lineup. They're not speeding on base percentage. And Ahmed, if Perdomo is his backup and Perdomo's they're smart enough to bat him second or eighth or ninth, why do you think seventh's a good offensive spot for a Gold Glover? And Pavin Smith has been DHing a lot, which is good because he's not an outfielder. Ace, Brent Rooker, he's on fire, but he's not a middle order on most teams. Norris Laureano was sixth hitter, and no thing is a third-string catcher, Carlos Perez, batting 3 through 5, and DH into win. Shea Langolier should be playing catcher every day, not wasting DH spot, because you have Aguilar and Nudo, both first basemen. Nudo batting second is stupid when he should be in the middle of the lineup, but Day is a young outfielder they have, not a middle order hitter, and again, wasting a DH spot on Diaz is stupid when they have multiple Diaz, and they're all like slap-sitting infielders. And Rooker batting second, as I said, not where I'd put him. Laureano batting second is better than batting sixth. Rangers, stop batting Grossman second and play him in right field. He's either going to be left fielder or DH. He's not a good defensive outfielder. And he drives in, and he's a power guy or drives in runs in a way, not a top of the order hitter. Smith is, again, an infielder by trade. Stop playing him in the outfield. And now that Seager's back, they're back to the stupid Simeon-Seager 1 and 2 when Seager and Simeon should be the middle lineup, or at least Simeon should be at second. Padres. Cronenworth is batting a lot of time second recently, which I'm happy about. Because Bogarts, Machado, and Soto have no business batting second. They're your middle of the lineup guy. Okay? But again, Cronenworth, again, shortstop playing first base. He's not going to give you offensive production at first base because he's never been a power guy. But then they batted him sixth, which again, stupid. Just leave him second. Machado, again, batting second is dumb. Bogarts batting first is stupid. And they took Tatis out of the leadoff spot and put him third. I'm like, it's been okay there. And lastly, Mookie Betts' experiment of him playing right field, shortstop, second base all in the same week is dumb. If you're not going to play him in right field, play him in center field. Okay? And I'm okay with him leading off if Freddie Freeman's bad in the middle lineup, not him too, because no offense to Will Smith, he's not a middle of the order hitter. Okay? And in one lineup, they batted David Peralta last. You didn't get this guy to bat last. And Chris Taylor's a super utility guy. Would not bat him 4, 5, or 6. And you got him to play the infielder with all the issues you had in the infield. You have plenty of outfielders. Hayward has no business DHing because he's never been a great hitter, nor a center fielder. He's a right fielder. And again, Mookie and Freeman should be third or fourth. Okay? Makes no sense. Thank you for listening to another edition of MLB Observations of this past week. For On the Radar Today blog, I'm Radar. This was week 7. And remember, you can always get these videos on YouTube, On the Radar, or my podcast, On the Radar, ontheradarmedia.com, or On the Radar Entertainment blog. For week 7 of the 2023 season, I'm Radar for On the Radar blog. See you guys next time.